Over 5 days we hiked a 36-kilometre segment of the challenging 80-kilometre Stubai High Trail in the Austrian Tyrolean Alps. Each night we stayed in refugios high in the mountains, providing great hospitality and spectacular views. For those interested in hiking in the Stubai, this video hopefully provides you with the confidence, or not, to give it a go. We started our hike near the head of the Stubai. Fresh snow had fallen overnight to below 2,000 metres to add some spice to the route. We took a crowded local bus to the trailhead and elected to take the easier Trail 135, where a new bridge had been built across the river. A 250-metre climbing sidle took us up to the Sulzenauhütte basin, a hanging valley 350 metres below the Sulzenauhütte. Got some big noses here. If you would like more videos like this, please like and subscribe. We quickly gained height on the switchbacks with great views across to the waterfall fed by the Sulzenauhütte glacier. There's the Hutte. After a snack, we went for a walk up to the Blue Lake with views up the valley to the Zuckerhartel Peak and Sulzenauhütte glacier. Highlight today were the fabulous views walking up the valley to Blue Lake. Day 2, bit of a climb today. We're going up to 2,700 metres. So we came up there yesterday, then all up the zigzags to the Hutte, and then up to Blue Lake, and today up and over there. Short climb along the top of a moraine wall brought us to Bremer, Bream Lake. The trail now steepened and we selected to take the longer, less exposed trail over Grubel at 2,730 metres, rather than the direct, steeper trail over Niedel. There's our path up there. We had a steep section as we topped out on Grubel with views through the intermittent clouds to Meerspitze. There's the hut we came from. There's where we were staying down on the valley 2 nights ago. There's our hut down here. We descended a rocky path down a spur before sidling back over to the trail leading down from Niedel just before Nürnberger Hutte. The meals were one of the many highlights of the trip. The views today back across the valley to Val di Fassa were absolutely spectacular. Day 3, past 7, just leaving the hut, Not a very long day today, but the trail gets a bit rougher, so could be a bit interesting. We'll see what happens. There's the team coming up the hill. The high point today is that little hut on top of the ridge there. The trail started off rather benignly and quickly got steeper as we climbed down to and up from the Langentl back stream. I can see our trail. The Stubai High Trail was a step up from the easier trails in the Dolomites we had walked, and some of us were thankful for good weather when negotiating segments with a bit of exposure. Strategically placed cables provided great support, especially if it was wet or icy. Here's our ibex over here, having a snooze. I think that's a 3,500 metre peak. We now had a steeper section as we climbed out of the gully and ascended the last 150 metres to the shelter on the ridgeline. Our hut down there. Lots of, looks like iron oxide in the rocks here. A short steep section as we descended from Semmingjoel added some spice. A descending sidle led us down to Bremer Hutte, sitting on a small plateau overlooking the Obertal Valley. That's where we descended from the shelter. My highlight today was seeing some ibex for the first time and having them ignore our presence and continue grazing. $7 o'clock, day 4. The weather's not great today, so we're taking a low route to Innsbrucker hut rather than the high route. So we're down to the valley floor, then climbing 1,000 metres back up to the Innsbrucker hut. And the high route, it's all the way around there. We were conscious that rain was forecast from early afternoon, so we maintained a good pace as we descended down to Semmingjoel. I nearly stood on this frog as I took some video of the stream. And that's the Italian border, that ridgeline there. We now descended an easy trail from Semmingjoel down to the road end. That was a 2.5 hour descent from the hut down to the road, which is not too bad. It's quite cool. Just started the climb up to Innsbrucker hut. It's 10:30, so should get there easily before the forecast rain around 2 p.m. Guy and trees are going to wander up at their own pace. An ongoing big clean-up in Obertal after a major slip and stream blowout 2 weeks ago. So it looks like the track's been blown out as well. Yeah, that's pretty extensive damage. All that silt. The switchback trail made this climb much easier than most similar sloped New Zealand climbs. Once out of the gully, the views opened up and I could see the Hutte 300 metres above me. Sheep higher up the slope dislodged a rock that whistled past my head at great speed. The view down tomorrow's route into the Pinnerstool Valley. I was fortunate to reach the Hutte before the rain. Di and Teresa were 15 minutes too late. The highlight today was the switchback climb up from Orbital with views to the Italian border. Day 5, last day on the trail, so we're up at Innsbrucker Hutte, about 2,400 metres, and we're walking out today, ending up taking a cable car down the last bit down to Neustift. Nice trail all the way down the valley. There's scars on this side of the mountain too, so there was a big rain event 2 weeks ago that was responsible for the flooding on the other side of the ridgeline in the valley there. This is all new rocks and rubble. It's been washed down. We picked out a chamois up on the scree slopes. A little digger down here, clearing up the debris. On reaching the road end, we immediately started our 350 metre climb up the Alpha side of the valley. We had fabulous views across the valley to the imposing, heavily eroded eastern ridgeline with its layers of grey quartz, white feldspar and silver and black micas. That's where we left from this morning. From here we sidled around the eastern flanks of Alpha Spitze. The trail now descended steeply past the Alpha Hutte down to the Cablecar station. This location was ideal for paragliding, and we watched a number of people launching themselves off the slope once the breeze had picked up. Rain started to fall as we took the cable car down to Neustift. I enjoyed walking the trail, sidling around the Alpha Spitze and then watching the paragliders launch themselves off the slope. I can recommend the Stubai High Trail for those experienced on rougher terrain who don't mind a bit of exposure. The route was well marked, had fabulous accommodation, and we enjoyed great fellowship each night with some delicious local dishes.